Hello guys and welcome to the first On The Ball podcast here with Ballistic. I'm your host Murphy. This week we've got Tadpole. We're going to be speaking a lot about his time at Triple Trouble, everything from the promotion right through to the World Series, or World Finals I should say, and how he's found it and what's next for him. Anyway, Tad, welcome to the show.
Thank you very much.
So first of all, just wanted to start off talking about the promotion last season leading into the regular season and where you guys were at mentally, how you thought you were playing. Were you happy with how everything was going?
I think that we had a rough time of it in the pre-season to season 7 with obviously all the things that went on with speed and organisations, and then to go to Leipzig and have a day one exit there was a scary prospect to go into RLCS with. So for us to go through and get to by week 3 to come out with 2 wins after a win against Bricks and then a win against PSG was probably as what we'd have to expect from ourselves. So to have that opportunity then to go into week 4 and play really well, pick up results against Vitality and Dignitas was a special day. So even all the way through the season, although it was stressful and it was a lot of pressure for a team that had just got promoted, even Casio didn't get promoted, we picked him straight up into the league. So it was a rough time, but one that we knew we could get through, and to get to Worlds then was just something special, really.
Yeah, so you guys obviously made it 2 Worlds, finishing 4th in Europe. Did you really have much expectations going into the season? Was it always, well obviously it's always going to be to win it, but did you guys feel like you had a realistic chance of making it to Worlds at the start of the season? Or was that something that more came along as time went by?
I think it was the only time it ever became realistic was week 4, to be honest. As a team, we obviously had to rush and pick up Casio. We had internal issues, rotational issues, anything you can think of really. And for that, we were seeded as a bottom 2 team. I think it was fair to seed us as a bottom 2 team last season. But to go into it then, and we took it week by week as we always have, and got to week 4, and to pick up those 2 results, it was only then that it became a realistic prospect that, World Championships could be something we could get to. But yeah, it took a lot of hard work. I don't think we ever expected to make Worlds, but we certainly made the most of it when we had the opportunity.
Yeah, and once you did make it to Worlds, are you guys happy with your performance there?
I think with that, we only had one expectation, which was to make it to Day 3, Championship Sunday. I think it kind of lined up in a way that led to disappointment, because if we had gone into that final 8 and played, your Vitality or NRG, even G2, we'd have maybe taken a hit a bit less, but because it was 4th seed versus 4th seed, us against Rogue, we knew that it was a realistic prospect that we could make top 4 in the world. And to go into that series, something I've always really said is we've always struggled that when we lose, we never play the way we want to. It's not losing that's ever the issue for us, it's been the way we lose. So to come off that stage feeling a lot of regret to the way we played was the only disappointment of Worlds. But overall, like to go up against Cloud9 on stage, to beat Loki, and go into Championship Sunday with all the support we had was something special, regardless of where we lost it.
Okay, and one thing that I sort of want to talk about is, so obviously not being picked up by an actual org after the Red Reserve disband it's kind of a tough take, because I guess it's led in part to the problems that you guys faced towards last week and the week before. How hard was it to really sort of deal with having all these other teams around you that are picked up, that have a lot of funding, for instance your PSGs, your Barcelonas, and you guys to be there at the World Finals as well, and not really have the support that they do?
I don't think I could ever really understate how difficult it's been not having an organisation. Because when you have an outlook as a player, when you have these dreams of making it to the heights that we have, every one of those dreams comes with an organisation. Nobody ever thinks they're going to play at the Rocket League World Championships without even being signed by an organisation. So it added a lot of stress to us, especially with all of the talks in the background. We had a lot of tier one organisations that were, on off, not sure whether to join the scene. So I think one of the big prospects of that was probably Epic Games. It landed in a really bad time for us, and a lot of organisations we've spoken to, as much as being excited for Epic Games, they also know that it's a big element of unpredictability to it, to have the game being taken over by them. And I think Fortnite is a tough example because it's had a lot of money pumped into it, but its esports scene hasn't really developed into a professional, very easy to watch thing. I think Rocket League and Fortnite are incomparable, and nobody knows where it's going to go from here. So organisations knew that. It became very tough for us to even start talks with the size of organisation that we really wanted. To have all of the teams around us signed, then, to finish higher in league play than organisations like TSM, Dignitas, that's tough. And it added a lot of stress, and it's sort of difficult to have that in your mind, to know that even small things like Worlds, maybe if we'd made top four and taken that rogue match, that we'd have been picked up after that. So it adds some pressure to results, I think.
Yeah, so it's something that you definitely feel when you go. Is it something that you think about before the match or anything like that, or maybe more so in the immediate aftermath of a match? That these results are a lot more important to you guys than they would be to, say, some other teams, because it very much your livelihood does depend on whether you can get that high enough placing to attract the right amount of attention.
Definitely. I said it on Twitter a week or so ago that when we played the DreamHack qualifiers, over 3 DreamHack qualifiers, I don't think we've actually won a series. And that's definitely not like us. And I think that no matter how subconscious it is, we go into stuff like that, like Dallas qualifiers, Montreal qualifiers, knowing that if we don't win out in that qualifier, we don't go to the event. And that level of pressure no other signed team around us has. It's not something that's very easy to deal with. So yeah, overall, not having an organisation has been one of the biggest downfalls of the team altogether, and that's unfortunate, because I think that had we been signed, after Speed left, even before Speed left, things would be very, very different to where they are now.
Yeah, that's what I was going to actually get onto a little bit. Obviously, talk about the Ronkey situation. So you obviously put out the Twit longer. You and Base both on Twitter talking about it. Is there anything in the last week really that you've had time to reflect? Is there anything else that you would say now, or is it very much what you put down in the Twit longer? Is that still how you feel now?
I don't think I'd change a word that's in there, and people have been very quick to pick up on, and respectable people that I've always respected, have come to me and said, maybe you should give it some time. Maybe you'd be less emotional after that time. But every word that's in that Twit longer, I would write again right now. And that's something I don't like to be. I don't like to hold a grudge like that. It's not me. It's never been me. But the way things played out, to have so much underhandedness of both of them, both of the roster moves, both Ronkey and Cassio's were incredibly underhanded, and it hurt in a way that I couldn't really describe. So the drama around it, the publicity around it, maybe it wasn't needed, and I'd be the first to admit that too much of it was broadcast. But I could also never describe how let down I've been and how let down Dion's been. So, if anything, we knew that there was a good chance this was coming, and what you saw in the Twit longers and the publicity was actually a preemptiveness of the feeling that I felt for the last week after losing RLCS.
Yeah. Okay. So it's obviously not the best situation or the most clean cut situation. Obviously, like you were saying, there's a lot of underhandedness, a lot of being in the dark, I guess, up until the news came out. But going on from that, the last week, I know we spoke a little bit beforehand that you were looking into the future now. What does the future hold for Tadpole Rocket League?
I was probably more unsure than everybody else. I took probably 2-3 days after the loss of RLCS to really think about where I was going from here, and it's only been the reason that I've come to the decision to keep playing is because of those around me and the people. Everybody saw the World Championships, the family that I've got, the friends that I've got, and all of that has come down to me somehow having belief that I can get back to where I was, and they're a big part of that. They've always been a big part of that. I've had some lovely insults from my girlfriend telling me that I can't quit yet, and she can't see me quit yet. Same with my family. I It doesn't even matter how I felt in the last week because I owe it to those around me to at least try and bounce back, and that's what I'll be doing. Whether that's going into play-ins with the team, which is where I'm hopeful for getting picked up in the future, then we'll see about that. But either way, I'm going to keep playing the game. I'll stay around the scene and hopefully start a nice little redemption story.
Triple Treble 2.0, I guess, or something along those lines, right?
Probably about the seventh one by now.
Yeah, so you were talking a lot about your family, and obviously they're a huge part of everything you do. I know you got Dad Pole and such. He was going to be your coach at BTS. How do they keep you going in times like this? What sort of things do they say? What sort of conversations do you have that like really make you feel happier? Because I know it's quite a rare thing to see this level of support from family members. I feel in esports, like obviously we have.
Yeah.
We've had stories in the past where people have been told by the parents, and I'm going back years, but parents have told their kids they need to stop playing, there's not enough money in it and stuff like that. And obviously esports as a whole is in a different place. And obviously there's a new generation sort of coming up now, which I guess you're on the borderline of, about where family matters so much, or sorry, family's so much more supportive than what they were. So tell me, how does that support help?
I think my family have always been kind of 100% all in on supporting either of us because my sister and brother have always been the same. My brother's currently working in air traffic control in Gatwick Airport, and he had unbelievable support from my parents to do that. My sister wanted to be a singer. We set up an entertainment business, and we literally did local pubs and entertainment for years. And it's always been that, probably 110% support, where it's if you want to do something, you do it, and it'll give me support that is unrivaled. So it allows me to do what I want to the extent where if I want to from here push again for a World Championships, they will support me in that. Or making it back to RLCS, they'll support me in that. They'll do it in an intelligent way. They won't say, you just do what you want, but they'll always be there to advise me. They'll always give me their outlook on things. Even the drama and stuff last week, they were the first ones to say that it probably shouldn't have gone out and stuff like that. They treat me as the age I am without being controlling of that, and that's incredible to have around me. So even the emotions that people saw at the World Championships is minuscule compared to the support I get. That's just a tiny section of it. And yeah, it makes it difficult to fail, really. It makes it difficult to give up. And that's something that I've always cherished as the main part of this journey that I've had.
And more specifically, I would like to get into how did your family get involved with this in the first place? Was it just watching you playing Rocket League, or?
Well, up until when was it? Up until just before we picked up speed, I was working in finance. So throughout the first RLRS season with me, Ronkey, and Andam, I was working, and I was made redundant from my job in summer of last year. And it was then really that I went to my parents and said, look, I could look for another job now, but things are looking up, and I really think we can make a push for this. And they were incredibly supportive. They told me to go for it. I picked up my new PC, and everything about it from there has been they've taken full interest in it. They probably know as much about the scene now as I do. Um, and even to other extents, like they'll they'll still keep up with the results around them. They'll keep up with Ronkey and Casio now and their results in RLCS, no matter how they feel about that and how I feel about that. So they've always been very, very attentive to how the scene's going. And they obviously watched through the rival series with speed. The day of the promotion tournament, I had all of them downstairs, including Dion was at my house, Ash was at my house, Ash Boyo, and it was an incredible day to have that amount of support as well. So they, as sports fans as well, they they're big hockey fans, they're big football fans. So this to them is just another sporting adventure, but it's one that I'm directly involved in. So that the emotion they feel towards it is something special as well.
And you were just talking then you had a lot of people round your house and that it was like a really special time. What was the bigger achievement for you? Was it coming first in the qualifiers or into RLCS, or was it reaching Worlds?
I think probably the World Championships. I think overall, my only goal really, I've never had a goal to make RLCS or make World Championships. My goal has always been to have something that I can be proud of and that the people around me can be proud of. And to go onto that stage at Worlds or walk out with a Welsh flag and have all the friends I have back home message me saying how incredible it was to see, that's something that will stay with me the rest of my life. Even if I can't bounce back, even if I can't do it again, that feeling of walking out to a crowd that's there specifically for Rocket League, to have my family there specifically for me, and it was something I've been incredibly proud of. It's something that my parents will speak to their friends about and be like, "Oh my God, my son played the World Championships of this game in New Jersey," and yeah, that's something I can be proud of and something they can be proud of. So World Championships for me is something unforgettable.
Okay. And finally, just want to wrap up with a little bit more of a light question. Going into the next season, who do you want to take the crown for RLCS?
So that's a tough question. Um, as a fan of the game, first and foremost, I think I'd have to say Energy. For them to switch around the whole second place curse they've got while having Turbo over there would be pretty incredible. I love Turbo to bits. He spends a lot of time in our Discord now playing F1 and stuff like that. So I'd have to say NRG. If I was going for a European team, probably TSM. I think they're all pretty nice guys around the scene, and for them to pick up Alpha and try and bounce back from a poor last season, it'd be good to watch. It'd be an entertaining season, even though I'm not a part of it.
Okay, awesome. Well, thank you for your time, Tadpole. Hopefully we'll be seeing you again next season.
No worries, man. Thank you.